So what we're going to do now is a practical exercise in showing how you can use those competencies for course design, showing how they can guide your thinking. Now, a lot of these slides are already seen, so I'm going to skip through them. And so these are the competencies in the paper. And those you're going to get on those handouts, okay? So down here you have the various competencies. And then there's a bunch of columns there. So we want to do that for course design. So what I'm going to ask you to do, when you teach a course, when you're designing a course, you need to think about the competencies that you want your graduates to have. You know, these are the target competencies. So what should your students, at which level should they be in terms of competencies? And then you also need to think about the starting level for the students. So are you teaching undergraduates, first-year undergraduates, postgraduates, professionals, that sort of thing? And what does it mean in terms of their existing level of competency? So what we're going to ask you to do in groups, as you follow those competencies, is for each of those competencies, think about the target level for your students, for your graduates, and also their student level. And then the third column is about coming up with identifying the gaps and thinking of ways in which you're going to meet this gap. And how you're going to do this depends on the type of course that you're designing. Whether you have a degree, a four-year degree, or just a single course / module class, or it's a training course, a 2 weeks training course. Obviously, it's going to mean different things. So this is the form here. You've got the competencies in the first column. You've got a column where you're going to indicate the target level, so the desired level of competency, the starting level, and any activities that you could think of that could meet that. So when you're going to fill those boxes there, we're going to give you as a guide Bloom's taxonomy. So it's here, and one usually the activity will leave that on the screen, so you can refer to it. But it's got these various levels. So remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, create. And so you can evaluate both the starting and the target level. So for example, let's say you were designing a bioinformatics master's program for computer science graduates. One competency there is the ability of a computer-based system process algorithm component program to be designed in scientific environments and problem. You would say you want your graduates to be able to have a level of evaluate, but they're already computer science graduates, so they're already evaluate, so you don't need to do anything. On the other hand, you may want them to understand about statistical research methods. You want them to be at the analyzed level, but in the computer science course, and they've got very basic statistics training, so it's more remember. So you may want to put to fill this activity, include a statistical or biological statistical course, that sort of thing. So that's the one part of it, and we're going to ask you to go through this exercise in breakout groups. And just for the sake of guiding, we've got 3 typical groups here. And I've picked some example exercises there. One could be a training course, and a very specific case there for enabling genetic counselors to use human genome variation resources, for example. If, as a group, you don't like that, feel free to go on, but this is an example. Or if you want to design a course, a module, You may want to design an introductory bioinformatics course for biology majors. Okay. Or you may want to design a 2-year bioinformatics master's program for computer science or engineering graduates. Okay. So based on the numbers here, I think we should do 3 groups. And we may want to have, so Michelle, would you like to lead this one? Okay. Who wants to lead? Russell, would you like to lead this one? Or do for one? Right? Okay, all right, so I'll leave this one here, okay? The other thing to do after you've done this exercise is really to reflect on it. Because the last part of the discussion, which is going to be led by Michelle, is going to be on how can we take what we get from this exercise to improve the competencies and to improve the process.
Represent the student.
So I'll put the group section there again. Groups are